641, right? Is that the case number?
No, that's another problem is that the case number that he provided at the time was incorrect. It doesn't match the case number.
What's the correct case number that you have?
The correct case number that I have. You don't want to. Do you want to take the incorrect one or the correct one?
Well, I'm looking at the one on the report, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to supplement the case number that's on the report, which is 240641.
Correct. That's the correct report number that I have in front of me. But
Okay.
at the time that Isaac gave me uh, a case number, it was from Officer Lade, who wasn't even there for the
Uh,
incident, and it was the incorrect case number.
all right, so I'll put Officer Isaac provided Mr. Smith with the case information card. I already documented what happened. What you
Yes, sir.
told me.
Yes,
Okay,
sir. But
so
you'll
you
see
went to station.
if you let me talk and explain to you, you'll see what I'm really getting at.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so the part where Officer Gowans explains that this whole ordeal where he felt uncomfortable and that I was extending my arms over him and uh, he was alone and I was making them aggressive and all that entire part of the report was false. So that never.
Okay, that's in the report. That's fine. You're not being charged with anything.
I
The thing is
understand that,
that
sir.
I document. Okay,
I
I
understand.
understand. That's not a problem.
I
What I
under.
documented is I documented what you told me tonight, that you have a problem with your civil rights and that you wanted to prosecute and nothing was done, and that's you gave me your side of the story. Don't worry about how he felt, because we can't go into hearsay and how he felt and all that. I got to deal with what happened to you and what you did to others, if anything did happen. All right. That's all I can. What I'm concerned about right now is about you. I'm not concerned about what the officers did. I can't document about the officers because I wasn't there. All I can document is about you. Do
Yes,
you
sir. But
understand where I'm coming from?
yes, sir.
That's the main
Yes,
thing. Anything that the officer wrote in the report, I read the report, and hey, that's apparently based on the fellow officer rule. That's what happened. I'm going to go with what the officer wrote. Now, I can't go into how he felt because I don't know how he felt or what was going on in his mind at that time. But the thing is, I'm documenting what you're telling me, and that's all I can do.
okay, sir. But I'm explaining the portion of his report that is basically defamation to my
That's the
character.
thing you have to take up with the officer. That's not with me. Whatever the officer wrote in the report, you have to take it up with him.
Okay, sir.
There's nothing that I can do. Or
Sir, I was
the
I
thing
was
is that
told I was told by the major to tell you exactly what happened, and just so we can get a subpoena to get the surveillance footage, and this is the part where we
okay,
need to get
can
the
I
footage.
absolutely? And that's what I wrote. I wrote what you just told me.
No, you just said you weren't going to write it. I was trying to explain it to you.
Don't worry about how the officer felt. What happened to you? You said you were assaulted by two men and a woman. They were all white people, and that you pointed them out, and nothing was done. And you went, and they told you to leave the scene, which you complied. You went to Broward and Brickell, called police dispatch. Officer Isaac responded, gave you a case card with an incorrect case number. You went to the station, spoke to the sergeant. You did everything right. You did everything absolutely right. Now, whatever is in the report that's not accurate, what the officer wrote, that's something that you're going to have to either speak with the officer or speak with the officer and the sergeant to see if there's some clarification or misunderstanding.
Okay, so who I'm calling what sergeant to clear this up?
No, Sergeant Belushi. You spoke to him that night.
I spoke to him that night, but at the time,
That's the main thing. I've written everything in the supplement, and you told me exactly what happened and how you felt and what was and was not done. And you left the scene. You called police dispatch. Then you came to the station, spoke to the sergeant, and that your civil rights was violated, and you desired prosecution, but nothing was done.
okay, can we
Okay, is
also
there any? Okay,
all
what
right?
else?
Can we add that? Now that this report is complete under my name and is public records.
That's automatic. Everything that this supplement that I'm going to complete right now is automatically public records.
Okay, all right. Well, I just want to finish
That's
what I was going to say, sir. Now that Gowan submitted this report, and this report is under my name, that I might be frowned upon for these allegations. If there is ever a need to pull this information.
Sir, you're innocent until proven guilty. So if you have an issue, you still have your civil rights. You weren't arrested.
Okay.
And
all right, but I fear that these guys might come back. Can you add that?
Well, I'll tell you this: if they do come back, or if you ever do see them, you can always summon the police. But for you to get a restraining order, let's say if these guys show up at your work, and I'm sure that if you don't know them and they don't know you, and this was a one night thing, unless they see you by chance again at Riverfront or whatever club you go to, and if you see them and you feel that you are in fear, absolutely you can. And if you're in fear of your life, you can also call 911, and we'll get their names and we'll give you a case number. And once the report is ready, if you do run into them again, you can file for a restraining order if they keep harassing you. But right now, have you seen them ever since the October 11th, since the night of the incident?
I'm glad you made those points valid, because that's what should have happened at the time that they assaulted me. So now,
well, I wasn't there.
I understand that.
I'm gonna be objective with you, and I'm not taking sides here. I wasn't there at the incident. I wasn't there at Dicey Riley, so I can't speak on anyone's behalf. What I'm telling you is that if you are downtown, or if you're in Pines, or if you're in Sunrise, or any other city, and you happen to run into the same individuals, and you are in true fear of your life, you can always call the police. They'll come out. They'll make contact. They'll gather information from everybody. And it'll be documented. They'll give you a case card, and once the report is ready, you can file for a restraining order. But now, since we don't have anyone's information, we don't know, they're all unknown, there's really nothing that you can do. Unless you see them by chance, or you see them driving by your work or your home, then you have a legitimate reason to, call the police. And they'll be stopped because, reasonable suspicion. If they're driving on the roadway, that's fine. But if they happen to show up at your house, then we've got a problem. Then that's stalking. But I'm pretty sure they don't know where you live, and everybody's probably intoxicated, and everybody went on their merry way that night. So, for future reference, if you do happen to run into them and you feel that you're in fear, always summon the police and explain to them what happened. Be cool, calm, and collective, so it doesn't appear that you're the aggressive party. Okay.
Okay. In Officer Gowan's report, he states that he walked towards the suspect, but he failed to gather their information.
That's what I'm telling you, that I can't speak on behalf of Officer Gowan. That's something that you might want to talk to Sergeant Malushi, and maybe want to talk to the officer or explain what happened. I have no idea. This is not going to trial. This is just a document. This is just a report. So it's pretty much, I don't see if it even going anywhere. So there's no one pressing charges. The female's not pressing charges for her being grabbed in her behind. So there's no culprits. There's no suspects. There's no victim. It's just a disturbance. So we have no victims here, and we have no culprits. It's just an incident that occurred. You were trespassed. You complied, and you left. Correct?
So how do we know she was actually grabbed in her behind then?
I have no idea. The only way is by, according to the report, is that I guess the employee from Dicey Riley's was approached by 3 different females. So I don't know. That's not my. I wasn't a witness to that, but there is a witness, the employee. But as I said, we don't have any. There's no victims listed here. There's no one pressing charges. And up until that, once it arrives, then you can defend yourself. Up until then, this is just a disturbance. So everybody went on their merry way. So if you're worried about prosecution or whatnot, there is nothing other than just it is public records, and it is a disturbance that occurred, but there's no names. All it is just male, female, and your name. That's it.
To determine whether we conduct an investigation and can pull surveillance footage from the location.
I have no, in reference to getting surveillance video,
Yes, sir.
you could probably speak to the owner of the establishment, see what he says, and see if there's anything. But according to the reports, the only surveillance video that they have is on the bartenders in the bar area. That's it.
Yeah,
There's
that's
no other surveillance video.